As the newest park in Disney's lineup, Shanghai Disneyland is the culmination of everything that the company has learned from their international theme parks. Bob Iger said it best himself: authentically Disney, distinctly Chinese. It may be easy for many to write this off as a park that they'd never experience, or one that might not be worth their while, but Shanghai Disneyland has a ton to offer, and despite being only 6 years old, easily exceeds the expectations of many other Disney theme parks around the world. Located in the Pudong district, Shanghai Disneyland is around 20 minutes drive from the airport and 30 minutes from the CBD of Shanghai. The park is easily accessible via the Shanghai Metro train system, with an exclusive stop available at the resort on Line 11. As a fully fledged resort, Shanghai Disney offers plenty of accommodation options for guests. Those wishing to stay on site have the choice of either the larger-than-life Toy Story Hotel or the glamorous Shanghai Disney Hotel, which offers unique park view rooms. It's important to remember that being located in China, many tourists are required to have a visa before entering the country. However, since January of 2023, Shanghai has offered a 144-hour visa-free transit policy. This allows eligible foreigners from selected countries such as the United States to enjoy 6 days in Shanghai so long as they enter and exit from eligible ports and stay within the allowed cities and regions. Considering Shanghai Disneyland's proximity to the airport and its accessibility via public transport, this would provide more than enough time to visit the park as a stopover to another destination, but be sure to check your individual circumstances carefully before visiting. Despite being a Magic Kingdom-style Disney park similar to other Disneylands around the world, upon entering Shanghai, the differences are immediately apparent. Firstly, despite entering under a train station-style building, the park lacks a train and is the only Magic Kingdom-style park without one. Heading beneath this, you begin walking right down the middle of Mickey Avenue, this park's replacement for Main Street USA, which is a mixture of both Main Street and Toontown. This is a rather shortened street though, and the park soon opens up into the Gardens of Imagination, a supersized hub featuring sprawling walkways and a number of classic Disney attractions such as a carousel and Dumbo. Sprawling and vast is a theme for Shanghai Disneyland. Talking to Imagineers, rather obviously, this park was built with the Chinese audience in mind. Part of their expectations when visiting was that Shanghai Disneyland would be big. Really big. The park itself occupies 287 acres, which is almost 3 times the size of Disneyland in Anaheim, which has had a 55-year head start. This sprawling nature of the park continues throughout. While it may not have the most attractions of any Disney theme park, it makes up for this via its sheer size, large walkways and spacious lands, which enable plenty of room to move. While the guest-accessible space of the park itself is similar to others, Disney has close to 1,000 acres to work with in Shanghai moving forwards. This does mean at times though you can walk a long time between attractions and not really see a whole lot of anything, which some Western guests may not enjoy. Of course, you can't talk about Shanghai Disneyland for long before bringing up its centerpiece, an absolutely enormous castle. The Enchanted Storybook Castle is designed to represent all Disney princesses instead of just one. It is the tallest Disney castle anywhere in the world at 200 feet tall, or 60 meters, and inside the castle is a walk-through attraction, a character dining restaurant, and a boat ride that travels in and out of the structure. Some may not be a fan of the boxy design, but you can't understate its size. Other than its sheer scale, the park is best known for its intriguing mix of attractions, from grander versions of classic Disney rides all the way up to groundbreaking original attractions. Rides such as Peter Pan may follow the same story beats as the classic attraction you know and love from Disneyland or the Magic Kingdom, but this time with much larger rooms, more impressive animatronics, tasteful use of projections, and a few extra scenes thrown in for good measure. In our eyes, this is the correct way to take an iconic attraction and plus it up with more modern flourishes and flares. This additive design can similarly be seen, though to less praise, in Buzz Lightyear Planet Rescue, where the classic shooter-style dark ride is reimagined in what can only be described as a gritty reboot of the attraction. Of course, the park has a number of original attractions that put it on the map as well. The Voyage to the Crystal Grotto is the first Disney ride in the world to take guests inside the castle. This enchanting excursion travels the waters of Fantasyland, and as you voyage around, you are greeted by fanciful fountains and sculptures that at times border on the uncanny valley. The attraction finishes inside the Crystal Grotto itself, underneath the enchanted storybook castle. Tron Light Cycle Power Run may now exist at the Magic Kingdom, but it was originally exclusive to Shanghai, which still, arguably, has the nicest version of this attraction, with the land being specifically designed around it. Tomorrowland is set across multiple levels, all building up towards Tron. The attraction was chosen as guests at Hong Kong Disneyland didn't like the fact that they couldn't see that Space Mountain was a roller coaster from the outside, which is why this predominantly indoor roller coaster features the dramatic bursting out of the grid section in the first place. This attraction helps to cement a completely new version of Tomorrowland, more modern and sleek, and one that will hopefully prevent the Tomorrowland problem. And if you don't know what we're talking about, we expand more on the Tomorrowland issue in the icon in the corner. But for Disney park fanatics, the real draw for Shanghai Disneyland has to be Pirates of the Caribbean: Battle for the Sunken Treasure, a completely new and high-tech take on the classic Pirates dark ride. We don't want to spoil what makes this version so great, though if you do, we've got a whole video on that here. Just know that this ride is the reason a lot of people put Shanghai Disneyland on their must-visit list. Elsewhere, you have Roaring Rapid, the only water rapids ride in a castle park, and one that has an insanely impressive animatronic, alongside a number of don't-miss shows, including Captain Jack's Stunt Spectacular, Mickey's Storybook Adventure, Illuminate Nighttime Celebration, and a whole lot more. Despite having never visited Shanghai, we can still safely say this park has a ton to offer. But it still leaves a big question. Who is this park for? If you live outside of China, its location makes this a very difficult theme park for most people to get to. Ignoring politics, China is a vast and beautiful country, but it's not near the top of many tourist bucket lists. Despite this, I believe Shanghai Disneyland is perfect for those who want a taste of what the country has to offer in a familiar environment. China is a common layover for many international destinations, and if you're interested in Shanghai Disneyland, you could easily use the visa-free travel to stop into the park for a day or two before heading on your way. Just be aware that if you don't speak Mandarin, there may be a possible language barrier, with the only English in attractions being the safety announcements. Having traveled to parks such as Tokyo Disneyland where English isn't the predominant language, this isn't particularly a problem. Disney are masters of creating attractions where the emotions and the story transcend language itself. But it's up to you whether this is a problem, since most cast members speak essentially no English. But in typical Disney fashion, all of them are happy to help if they can, and will seek out more fluent-speaking cast members if required. If you don't wish to visit right now and can wait a little bit longer, the park will soon be home to the world's first Zootopia land and trackless dark ride. Officially, there is no opening date for this land, but it's looking close to completion, with the giant Zootopia skyline rising above the park. The few sneak peeks we have had at this land make it look incredibly unique, but let's hope it just stays unique to China for a while, as it really isn't needed in Disney's Animal Kingdom. Shanghai Disneyland isn't for everyone, and that's fine. But if you've watched this video and gone, dang, that looks like a place I want to visit, then chances are it's for you. But for a lot of people, this is the last Disney park they tick off on their checklist, so it is a case of saving the best till last, or saving the hardest to get to till last. That's up to you. But what are your thoughts? Have you been to Shanghai Disneyland, or do you really want to? Let us know in the comment section down below. For ReviewTyme, I'm Dom. Thanks for watching.